listening to the questionnaire.
Say that again.
You're listening to the questionnaire.
I've just started.
Right here, for your ears, for your eyes.
The questionnaire.
Get your comic on.
Poke it out, poke it out, poke it out, poke it out.
Well, here we go. Yeah, it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for another quest. That's right. This is the questionnaire. I am the Unknown Factory, aka that Wade Wilson of hip hop. But as always, we ain't talking that. Yeah, what we're talking is them books and pages. Yeah, and apparently, on the previous quest, we're talking recipes too, like pots and panels. That is a very, 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 very intriguing concept, man. Me and Hannibal even talked about it after the show, after we were talking about, planning the next session for the Sundering, who is a part of the Sundering, right, coming up, who's with us right now, though, and is also, man, done some, we'll say panel work. We've got some panels going on here. I mean, you see, there's 3 panels, right? So, she's done some panel work, yeah, as well as making some great flyers. That's Shiro in the house. How you doing, Shiro?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm just manic as always, but don't you know that? Don't you know? Like, I don't know. I'm a little upset how that comic landed, to be real honest, though. Like, it didn't land smooth how I wanted it. It did kind of land nice to where it spread out, though. It spread out. I could see the whole cover, right? It did, but, it's because I fling them. But they are just books, man, and you're supposed to enjoy the story more than anything else. That is the very, 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 very important part. And Shiro, we got into some screwy stories before all of this.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I said we got into some real screwy stories before all of this.
Yes, we did.
All right. You think it'll continue?
Knowing the show? Yes.
I don't love it, because this is a quest. It ain't a podcast. It's a quest. That's what we do at the questionnaire, right? And with that in mind, I gotta pick on our guest tonight because, man, JM Brandt, look, how you doing?
All right, yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
I gotta like, before we get into anything, I just like, so probably Almond Joy, but for mainstream, I prefer York or Junior. Like, why is an Almond Joy not a mainstream candy bar? I do not understand this.
All right. No, so my answer to this question, the question was, what is your favorite candy bar? A bar indicates sort of like a rectangular confection, right? And so I went Almond Joy, but my favorite candies are mints. And so I like York peppermint patties.
Okay.
I like mints, but they're not candy bars. So I wanted to mention it, but they're not candy bars.
So I need to take one word off of that question. I understand.
Yes.
What's your favorite candy? Yes.
You're also neurodivergent. You should know this.
Wait, are you too? Because I found out a few years ago that I am.
ADHD here. And Jay has everything. They gave him the questionnaire and he was like, yes.
Yeah, I told my therapist at one point, like, she went through the questionnaire with me and she was like, holy shit, you have ADHD. And I was like, are you sure? I'm not very hyperactive. And she told me that ADHD in adults gets diagnosed as ADHD whether you have the hyperactive component or not. But it is explained so much, and I found out that I'm not as lazy as I thought I was. I'm just ADD. But I'm also lazy. Like, I'm lazy on top of the ADD.
There's always a little bit of that. But a lot of it is not our fault.
No,
It is an odd.
No, a lot of it is my
Some
fault.
of it is our fault a little
I'm
bit.
really, really lazy.
It's an odd thing though, man, and I think it's funny. We're trying to put a pan con together over here where we're gonna get into something here soon, which is neurodivergent superheroes, because clearly there's a lot of them. Because I mean, if you think about it. And thanks, Shiro. I love that. He's got all of them. You're probably right. I probably got a little bit of everything. But that's besides the point. We've been, if we go by just what I've been diagnosed as unofficially and officially by people that like are from that. Yeah, I don't even remember that whole list, but that's besides the point. But I think it's an interesting conversation because if you look at it within comics, it do seems there are a lot of people that are neurodivergent, both as creators as well as the characters. I mean, if you look at characters within comics, like let me ask you, Jam, what when I say neurodivergent comic book character, who pops in head?
Everybody.
Who?
Because if you have a singular focus, right? If you are obsessed with vengeance, if you are obsessed with justice, if you are obsessed with just righting wrongs, there's something neurodivergent about you because it takes that sort of singular focus in order to be a superhero. I think being neurodivergent is a prerequisite for being a superhero.
That's an intriguing answer that I honestly didn't expect for you to just say everyone so quickly. That's
You're welcome.
huh.
No, I mean it's true. You know, like I told you before we started the show that I listened to a couple episodes. I listened to Stephen Brandt, David Pepos.
It's okay, dude.
One
Look,
of those.
there's
Yeah,
look,
no, he's not going to listen to it, so it's
no,
fine.
no. It's okay because he literally put out a tweet saying my wife said she can't wait to get married, so everybody can butcher her last name too. So it is a running gag. Pepos, I only remember because he was on the show and it was a gag on the show as well. That's just so yeah, no.
Okay,
I get it. There's
so
a reason why
anyways,
my name is only Shiro on the label.
there you go. So if you're the Punisher and you have that singular motivation, right? And granted, if my family was gunned down by the mob, I would focus on that. You have to be neurodivergent. You have to be. Because how else are you going to have the conviction to do what you need to do?
Well, do you think in that case then, with what you do, especially with the case of the Punisher, do you think there are cases where it's not so much that it's just the affliction, the trauma has ostensibly caused the neurodivergence in their brain, as opposed to where there are other cases where the person is just like, look, Tony Stark, Reed Richards, don't give me no lines, all right? Them dudes,
They're on the spectrum.
yeah.
Mm.
They
Yeah, they're
totally
on
on
the
the.
spectrum.
So is
It is
so
a
is
spectrum.
yeah. So is Bruce Wayne. Like there are certain people. It's like, look, man, you really gonna even like have a debate about whether they are with me? Because if so, I don't know how we can have a discussion about this. Because I feel like you need to.
So I mean, the neurotypical people would be able to compartmentalize their trauma, and the neurodivergent people would be focused and steadfast in their understanding of what they need to do in order to rectify whatever demons they have.
All right. That's so. So that really does.
There's like there's a component of mania. There's a component of obsession in any superhero because who else puts on spandex and fights weirdos in order to make their life feel more complete, right?
Right, because in every superhero universe, as far as I know, have the police. So
Yeah.
like you have superpowers, either you hide them and become a cop, or you use them and you make sure everybody sees you and you dress in blue and red with your underwear on the outside.
Exactly.
You know, it's that kind of logic.
Yeah. No. To be a superhero, you have to be on the spectrum somewhere.
Now, would you agree with?
I think that's a requirement. I think that's a requirement.
Do you think it's the same in the case of a supervillain?
I do.
Oh
yeah.
Lord!
Oh my
where
God!
do we begin? We're here until next week.
Because I mean, like, so the most granular obsession of a villain is the will to power, right? At the most basic level, it's like, oh, I want to rule my neighborhood council, and I'm going to rule it with an iron fist. But if you want to extract more power from the world, you have to be hyper focused, not just focused, hyper focused, in order to make that happen. And usually it's based around some sort of plot, some sort of gimmick that requires some sort of neurodivergent obsession in order to follow through. All superheroes, all supervillains are neurodivergent. I'll say it now.
That's just so. What about in the case of other characters you see in comics? All right, let's throw.
Thinking like a Foggy Nelson.
Well, I was gonna throw. Have you read Plastic?
I haven't read Plastic. No.
You should. I was gonna throw out Edwin, which I would say in his case, I don't know. That's what. Well,
I mean,
no.
If we had Tony Stark money, we'd buy all the books you recommend.
Shiro, if I had Tony Stark money, like behind me would just be a wall of graphic novels, and I would edit like this. You know.
Hey, as it is, your background is very nice.
But no. Edwin, I would call more crazy, but I don't know. That's without you having any knowledge of that story, I don't know how to really explain everything because it's go check out Doug Wagner's. Go check out Doug Wagner's interviews just on a while ago. We had him on. We were chatting San Diego Con as well as Plastic Death and Dolls. Man, you have to check that out. Just a couple questions back if you want to know about that particular universe. But back into this conversation, and now I'm trying to think of a character to that ilk. All right, American Psycho. Have you seen that film?
I have seen that.
All right.
I haven't read the book, but I've seen the movie. Yeah.
Is there a book?
Yeah, it was based on a book.
Okay, because I know they
Which
did
is supposed to be really good. I just haven't read it yet.
Well, that makes me want to get that book and read it, man. Because I know they did a comic series recently that. Oh, the publisher escapes me, and it's in my box. And I'm not.
Behemoth / Sumerian. It's either Behemoth or Sumerian.
Okay, yeah. I think it might be the former, not the latter, but I'm not sure. But a character like that, right? What would you say about them as far as being neurodivergent? You think there is a neurodivergency there, or do you think that's just a psychosis?
Well, the American Psycho is... I don't even know if neurodivergent counts. They're a psychopath. Like, that's why they're called the American Psycho, right? Like, they're...
Yeah, at that point, the psychopath, like, really supersedes whatever neurodivergent
Exactly.
have.
Because so my experience as a writer, as a liver of life, is that neurodivergent people do have some sort of empathy at some point for some people. And American Psycho, I forget the character's name.
Jason Bateman, I believe, or Patrick Bateman.
Patrick Bateman, yes.
Yeah.
So Patrick Bateman has no compassion, no understanding, no conception of other people's feelings.
Okay.
And so that's not just neurodivergent, that's psychosis.
And I agree, right? Now, I use that point to get to my next point. Therefore, wouldn't Joker be in the same queue? And so many other villains, for that matter, aren't there villains that fall in like Carnage?
But is psychosis some sort of neurodivergence at some point?
Well, then at that point, you get into the fact.
One of his origins,
have a focus, like if you're obsessed with Batman and ruining Batman's life, ruining Bruce Wayne's life, you're sort of in the autism spectrum at that point, as opposed to being a psycho. And they're related. They are related. Like, I don't want to associate myself with being a sociopath or a psychopath just because I have ADHD, but
Yeah, I mean, there's a step there.
right. It's closer than being neurotypical, right?
Right.
All right. So how about in the case of like, so you make a point with Joker as far as he does have the obsession with Batman. So there is that. But I think Bateman, you could say, had the same obsession as far as just getting more power. So you know what I mean? So within that, you could say there's a neurodivergency there, but I think it's not. It's a psychosis. And I think they're crazy trying to obtain power. I think it's a different wiring of the brain than what would be considered neurodivergent, in my opinion.
Well, yes, yeah. Anybody that has a will to power, anybody that's Nietzschean, anybody that's a villain, has to have something else going on top of being a neurotypical person, because it requires a dedication that a neurotypical person wouldn't have. If you have that obsession, if you have that desire to really reach above and beyond your means and gather power or consolidate power the way that a supervillain has, you have to be neurodivergent in order to have that obsession.
Sorry about that quick cut. Back to what you were saying, Jam.
Quite all right. I think to have a drive above and beyond an average person who just wants to live their life, you have to be neurodivergent in a certain way. The understanding of human psychology and brain chemistry is going to put everybody on the spectrum at a certain point. But superheroes, supervillains, comic writers, comic artists, comic fans are on the spectrum at a certain point. I've done enough conventions where I'm convinced of this.
Well, I would say to a certain degree, then, to that aspect, it's entertainers, period. Anybody that creates to a certain degree is to some degree neurodivergent. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not like a typical brain isn't going to come up with what the Woz did and create Apple.
No, 100%. Because a neurotypical person just wants to fade into the background, I think. Like a neurotypical person is content to just be a cog in the machine and live their life and collect a paycheck and just do their thing. And anybody that has aspirations above and beyond, which require effort above and beyond, have to be somewhere on the spectrum outside of zero, which would be the neurotypical person, right? Because to balance the scales, to unbalance the scales, you have to be somewhere beyond zero or below zero, I guess.
All right. I just got to say too, to that point, man, of balance and scales and things being typical and not. What is wrong with you with what you did to Santa, JM?
There's a lot wrong with me. What are you talking about?
But dude, did you Shiro, did you read his Santa story?
No, I did see an image. Look, this is last minute here.
I
Yeah,
mean,
no.
Shiro's the last minute co-host,
Instagram,
and things. And sometimes I don't get a chance to read the guest books that's coming on. So Shiro, I totally understand, and this was very last minute. And sometimes that happens. It's a quest. Sometimes in a quest, people just suddenly appear and have to deal with a dragon. You can check out episode 1 of The Sundering if you want to get into a bit more of that with me, Shiro, Alan Henry, Hannibal, and Dave. Yeah, from Major Comics and Games, right? Because Hannibal tried to kill us all right off the bat. I swear.
It was my first D&D game, so yeah. And I'm like, what, 4 feet tall? In the game.
Yeah.
Wait, so what are you, like a halfling?
I'm
or-
5'2". Shut up.
Yeah, you're a halfling, correct, in the game, aren't you, Shiro?
I'm a kinder, I believe.
Oh, Kinder. Okay. I don't look.
I know
I hadn't
what-
played D&D since I was 15. It was crazy. But no. But back to my point, Jam. Why'd you do that to Santa? What is wrong with you? What? Why, dude? Why? What point?
There's
Like
a
what?
lot wrong with me. I carry a lot of trauma with me. I think that is one of the driving factors with my life. And
Wait. Pause. Jam.
yes.
Where on the will did Santa touch you?
All right. So to be fair, I was raised Jewish, so I don't have the same reverence for Santa that everybody else does.
I noticed.
Yeah. I just, the idea of Santa Claus, the idea of this benevolent being that travels the entire world and delivers to every single person a present before the stroke of midnight or whatever it is, just seems bizarre to me. And it's always felt bizarre to me. And I've always been very interested in it. But I love the idea of, this is my story for readers or listeners that don't know the story. I'm in Holiday Spirits Volume 3 from Orange Cone Productions. And the story is that Santa is not magical, the suit is magical. And the idea is that the suit compels Santa to deliver presents no matter what. And I think that's a really cool way of interpreting Christmas and interpreting how Santa works and everything else. And I have a son who's almost 9 years old and believes in Santa still, has mentioned a couple times that Santa may not be real. But I've really drilled down in the idea that Santa is real and Santa does deliver presents to everybody. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if Santa was just this overarching title that gets bequeathed to people that maybe or maybe don't deserve it? But either way, they're implicated in this cosmic scheme to deliver presents, whether they want to or not.
I That wasn't right. That wasn't look, Jam. That wasn't, look. You got Shiro. When we're done, you need to just go read. It's a fairly short story. It's coming out, like I said, in that anthology
10
you guys got coming. What was the so? What's the deal with the entirety of that anthology? Then I mean, obviously, it's going to be a bunch of Christmas stories.
Yeah.
But
So this is volume 3. Every single story in volumes 1, 2, and 3 are holiday based. Some are Christmas, some are Hanukkah, some are Kwanzaa. For all I know, some are Festivus. I haven't read all. But the idea is that it's holiday horror, and I love the idea of doing holiday horror, and so I applied to do my Santa story. I was really influenced by Eric Powell and The Goon as far as the sense of humor goes, and I thought it would be really cool to play with the idea that Santa isn't magical, the suit is magical, and the suit is almost a curse for people.
yeah, you think?
No,
I'm sorry, that sounds super fun for me.
Yeah.
I haven't read it, but I'm imagining to a point that the suit is so magical and so forceful. After a while, it's just a dead body being dragged around by the suit.
That's exactly what happens in the middle of this story. Santa has a heart attack and dies.
Oh my god.
But the suit compels them to still deliver presents as he's decomposing. And so he's just Santa no matter what until he's not Santa.
Tell me we don't have the same brain. Just
Exactly.
want to fetch a book It's a book I made like 22 years ago. I Kill Santa is in this book. And I was like, oh my God, we're thinking the same things.
It's a really fun story. I love the artist for it. R.L. Black did an amazing job. I found him through Instagram, through Kickstarter, and it was like his first Kickstarter, and I was like, dude, you need to draw my book, please. And I gave him more than half of what was being paid for the honorarium of being in this anthology, and just was like, please make my vision a reality. And it is... I don't want to shit... Sorry, I don't want to crap on anybody else in the anthology, but I do want to say that my story is best in the anthology. And I hope that came across.
It's certainly a very, very intriguing Christmas story and a very interesting way for the aspect of Santa. I mean, I can think the only thing that it draws to mind, I mean, obviously, the Santa Claus films. The suit was magical, so it has that aspect. Except, the suit gave the person magic, not just the suit was magic. Like it was Doctor Strange's cloak, and it had its own freaking brain. I don't want to deal with a piece of cloth that can think for itself.
No.
Can't even speak.
The cloth doesn't speak for itself. The cloth inhabits the person, and the person is compelled. And that's the idea behind it. That is the idea behind my story, Twas the Night, is that the suit is magical, Santa is not. Santa can be anybody as long as the suit is on him. And what happens when things go really wrong, right? In terms of dying on the job, but what happens when things go really right, when you find the right kid that understands the plight.
It's just no, man. It wasn't right. It wasn't right.
That's okay. Why am I the one that understands this?
It was a great story. I mean, I think it was.
It seems like a natural progression to me.
Whatever, man. You just wait to the end of the show, and I'm gonna really.
Tradition.
Yeah, no, you're getting messed with at the end of this show, man. And I think I gotta mess with you a little now, to be real honest, though, man, because I just gotta say, man, I'm like looking through your questionnaire. Sorry, my boy started school today. It was a really busy day. I have not had time to research like I have. That wasn't to you, JM. I was apologizing to the guests. You be quiet. You're a guest here on the questionnaire.
Yes, sir. I'll
All
let
right.
you.
No. I love you. I love you, man. And again, thanks for being here. But you put your favorite fictional character and least favorite fictional character now. One of them for favorite, you put Indiana Jones. Okay. For the other one, I know. See, you're looking at the hat and going, "Oh crap!" And obviously, if you notice the intro, I don't know if you noticed what I called myself during the intro. That's because I am. All right, just to be clear, I am the Wade Wilson of hip hop. There is no other for anyone out there watching.
That's
all right,
fine.
all right.
One's enough.
Right. But then you've got your other favorite character listed currently now is Ash Williams. Great choice. Love me some Ash Williams, man. I have Mark Verheiden, who actually worked heavily on the Ash vs. Evil Dead series, as well as My Name is Ash, or My Name is Bruce, and a couple other things. We got him coming up. We're going to be talking our comics political. Yeah, with a nice little group of individuals. Mark will be included in there. It'll be nice to have him back. He ain't been back since he quested the first time. But, so you say Ash, and then your least favorite character is Deadpool. Do you not realize how similar Ash and Deadpool are as characters?
They are. Okay, so let me clarify, please. Deadpool is a love-hate relationship. I love Deadpool. I love the idea of breaking the fourth wall as a writer. I love sort of the irreverence that Wade Wilson brings to the Marvel Universe, the MCU, everything. I just watched 2 weeks ago the third Deadpool movie, whatever it is.
Deadpool versus really Wolverine.
Good. Yeah, whatever it's called. I like Deadpool. but he's also my least favorite because it feels like it gives people license to just act annoying without understanding the context.
Wait. So are you saying because you've dealt with people cosplayed as Deadpool and they're being annoying? That's what you're talking about, right?
No, not even just people cosplaying. Like I've been to not enough conventions, but enough conventions to know that people like dressing as Deadpool and acting a fool. And they don't understand Deadpool. They don't. I think that Deadpool is a fourth wall breaker. I think that Deadpool is sort of the tongue in the cheek of Marvel, and people don't quite get that. Like, they think that it's just license for them to act a fool and act annoying and be crass without context. And Deadpool inside the MCU, my favorite Deadpool stories are the Cullen Bunn Deadpool stories. And this is coming from somebody that started collecting comics with X-Force, has the Deadpool, what is it, second appearance, third appearance, X-Force #2, right?
Okay.
So I've been in on Deadpool since almost the beginning. But people misinterpret what Wade Wilson represents. And I think that's why he's my least favorite fictional character. Is
Okay.
because people think that it gives them the opportunity to just be annoying for annoying's sake, as opposed to being understanding of the context in which they live and acting appropriately.
So you say they misunderstand the meaning of Deadpool.
I think so.
So
I think
let
that's
me
what
ask
it is.
you then, as a writer,
Yes.
and I ask you this as someone that, like I said, we've had Fabian on the show. I am the Wade Wilson of hip hop. I've read most of what Deadpool has been in comic book wise, and I'd like to think as a character I have a good amount of grasp as far as him and
Yes.
how they have plotted him out, especially like with what Fabian did and Joe Kelly did and Jerry Duggan, specifically. I think I would say those three writers specifically what they've done to develop his character. I want to know what you think the meaning of Deadpool is. Sum it
Okay.
up for me, JM.
Yeah, you got it. So the majority of what I've read is the Brian Posehn, Jerry Duggan Deadpool. The Shikla, mess, whatever, the big spread cover of the marriage and everything else. I think that Deadpool is aware of fandom as a general constant in the universe and understands what comics mean to other people and sort of craps on it in a way that is appreciative and irreverent at the same time. And I think people take it as a license to be irreverent and inappropriate in ways that don't necessarily jibe with the spirit of Deadpool himself. Deadpool is sort of the character that says, look at these assholes. Look at these guys, right? Like, look at the Punisher. He's a guy in spandex that shoots other people. Look at Daredevil. He's a blind guy that's in spandex and fighting people even though he's blind. And looks at the absurdism of the entire comic universe.
No.
Right?
But I think you're right on everything you've said, JM, but I have to add something. Because I think there's a key element of Deadpool that I think a lot of people do miss. Is he's a guy that's been through a whole heck of a lot of crap that's driving him a little hoo 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 hoo. But in the back of him, but in the back, there's this constant thing that's like, I want to be a good guy. 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 That's why when he's talking about Spider-Man or he's talking about Captain America, he is like those guys.
Yeah.
I so wish I
Okay,
could be like those guys.
So I answered your questionnaire. Who's my favorite least fictional, or who's my least favorite? Sorry, too much whiskey. Least favorite fictional character,
Or not enough.
Yeah, or not enough. Exactly. Like maybe I need to get over the hump. Least favorite fictional character is Deadpool, because people don't understand the neurosis behind Deadpool. Deadpool is a good guy. Deadpool wants to do the right thing. But Deadpool understands the absurdity of the world in which he lives. And I think that's the heart of Deadpool, is understanding, but also breaking the fourth wall. Understanding that things are so absurd that I'm a fictional character in a little box, but I want to do the right thing anyways. Because I think in general, people are born with the desire to do the right thing. I think that's something that's common to people. That's why I love people, even though I hate people. And so I see Deadpool as sort of this cosmic court jester, highlighting our imperfections and then elaborating on them.
Can I say then, you know what the problem is? Is in my opinion, if you're gonna read Deadpool and really appreciate Deadpool, do me a favor and go read The Art of War and a little bit of Nishi too, would you?
Done.
Just to
I
talk.
was a philosophy student. I read The Art of War.
But that's what I'm saying.
in
That's why but that's why you understand him at that level, James, because
Yeah.
you've read those books. There are so many people that are fans of Deadpool that have never read things to that level, so they don't see the layers, man. Because look, like Shrek, it's all an onion, you know.
I want to say a lot of Deadpool is Bhagavad Gita as opposed to Art of War. Deadpool is apologetic for the violence that he extrapolates on the MCU or the Marvel universe, but he's aware of his role, and he's apologetic for his role. He's the court jester, and he understands his role.
But then the other thing,
also at the same time, exposes the absurdism of the role.
yeah, and I think that it was done really well too. I gotta say, when they did Secret Invasion, I'm talking about the comic, obviously, not the show.
Yeah.
I so wish they would have done. I so wish Deadpool would have had the moment in that show where he got the call from Fury. How funny of a cameo would that have been if suddenly here's Ryan Reynolds showing up at the end of Secret Invasion, going, shoot the Skrull Queen? What? Okay, and then suddenly Norman Osborn takes credit for it. Like that would have been the greatest. Yeah. They would have at that moment. Everybody would have been like, "What just happened to the MCU?" Because that was incredible, and what is going on?
No, I love Secret Invasion, and more than that, I love the Initiative, and the fact that those two blend together are really cool in my mind. Like the Initiative is my favorite Marvel overarching event of all time, because I love esoteric characters. I love the fact that writers were allowed to draw from the bottomless pit of pitiful Marvel characters and make something good out of them. Because there is a depth to everybody. Like if you want, and me as a comic writer, I feel like I can write anybody, because I can look at their background, I can look at their history, and I can see what drives them.
Okay, right? Well, let's ask then, Jam. Let's say you could write anybody, right? Like you just had a magic wand, because No, dude, I'm not giving you that power. I'm not like, are you kidding me? I'm not giving
No,
anyone,
give
I'm
me
not
the
giving
power,
anyone
please.
Molecule Man's powers. Like, I've never had someone ask for something quite so outlandish, dude. I'm waiting for somebody to be like, oh, I want the Beyonders powers, or like, to hell with it. I just want an Infinity Gauntlet. I'm gonna be like, hold on, y'all.
Hey, Molecule Man's powers. You asked me which powers would I like to have. Molecule Man, you can do anything you want.
Yeah, you
Why
went
would I
extreme.
want that?
So let's say you have that ability as far as a writer and being able to pick any character or even maybe assemble a little team from one of the big two if you want.
Yeah.
What would you go with, Jam?
Okay.
What would tickle your fancy?
Right. Okay.
Especially with X
So,
Force being your favorite book, it really makes me curious if you'll go dark.
okay. So, cards on the table. I'm not a DC guy. I didn't grow up reading DC. I didn't watch DC stuff for the most part, except for the Tim Burton, Joel Schumacher movies, whatever. I am a Marvel guy. My history in Marvel Comics is reading the Marvel Comic Handbook to the Marvel Universe, Mohatmu, I think is how it's. Yeah, I read the Marvel Handbooks more than I read the comics. I love history. I love legacy. I love learning everything that there is to know about a character and understanding sort of the driving force behind them. What I would do with the Marvel Universe is I would take fucking anybody. I would take anybody. I would write a killer story. I want to play in the Marvel sandbox. So anybody Marvel listening, like, just give me anything. Like, I'll take the worst character. I'll take the best character. And I will give it a human edge because I think that's what I lend to books. I lend humanity to books. That being said, I wrote a few articles for Screen Rant that sort of telegraphed some ideas of mine. I really like the idea of taking a Headman book or a Enforcer's book and turning it into something that means something for the Marvel Universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay, sorry. When you said Hitman, in my head, I thought the book Garth Ennis did for DC.
Oh, no, sorry. I said Headman, which would be, God, I'm really bad at the names. The Mystic, the guy who was a scientist that had a gorilla body with a human head. There's a team of Spider-Man villains that revolve around brain surgery or brain transplants that are really, 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 really interesting. And I would love to explore that and be on the darker side of that, but also lend credence to the Marvel Universe through that.
It's an intriguing answer. No wonder. And man, something is wrong with you, Jam.
There's a lot of things wrong with me.
Dude, Requiem
Oh.
for a Dream is your favorite movie? That movie is so Look, and firstly, phenomenal film. Phenomenal film. I love the director's first film, honestly, Pie more. I'm more of a fan of it.
It's really good.
I
Yeah.
will not lie. I'm more of a fan of Pi, right? That's the mathematical symbol and just PI for anybody out there that wants to check it out. Requiem for a Dream will wreck your life.
Yeah. No, it's one of the most traumatic movies of all time.
I can only
Requiem
think
for
of
a Dream
one word.
is my favorite movie. I come from a cinema background. Like out of high school, I took a lot of film classes. I learned a lot of film theory. Darren Aronofsky pulled a lot from Brian De Palma, which is one of my favorite directors. There's a lot cinematically going on with Requiem for a Dream that makes it my favorite movie. But at the same time, just the concept of the Hubert Selby novel. Just the idea that addiction is a driving force, the idea that everybody has an addiction of one kind or another, and we're all victims to this sort of obsession, right? Whether it's QVC, which my grandmother was obsessed with to the point that her big screens were burned in with the call-in numbers, whether it's heroin, which I haven't done yet. I've decided that I wouldn't do until I was 80 and past the U.S. American male life expectancy before I do, because it sounds amazing.
Wait. You have an actual age. You're like, man, if I make it to 80, I'm going to get me some black tar.
80 on the dot. The second I turn 80, I'm doing heroin, because at that point, I've outlived my life expectancy and everything else is gravy, and it sounds so freaking good that I want to try it.
Hey, you gotta have goals in life.
Everybody that I ever obsessed with as a kid was hooked on heroin. And I always wondered what would be the cause to try heroin in the first place, knowing that it's so addictive and so great. And I'm infinitely curious about it. But I'm also a dad, and I'm also a responsible human being. And so I'm not ready to take that leap yet. But if I'm playing with house money, I'm going to play with house money.
The Questionnaire podcast does not condone the use of drugs.
Thank you. Yes.
Especially not freaking, like,
Especially not on YouTube.
well, yeah, not on. Firstly, well, I mean, not and that not. I mean, look, man, if you wanted to do the thing, that are like, but she's a freaking Pete. You bring in here. That's what I get for bringing Requiem for a Dream into this conversation, though, because I mean, sincerely, between
my favorite movie is. That's what I'm going with from a cinematic perspective, from a storyteller perspective. It's a movie of immense emotion and immense vision that is such a force in film, and I don't think it gets the respect that it's due.
Has that director done anything besides that and Pie?
Yeah, so he did, what is it? After that, he did Tree of Life, I think was the name of the movie, which I found really overblown and self-indulgent. He did The Wrestler, which is really good.
Okay.
With Mickey Rourke,
yeah,
right?
Love
and then he did Mother, which was such a mind F, because I'm not allowed to cuss, and I've already done a bad job of reining myself in.
Y'all
Mother was really weird, but it was really good at the same time.
So I haven't seen Mother.
Those are his only movies.
I haven't seen Mother. And isn't Tree of Life the one with the tiger and the boy on the boat?
No, that's Life of Pi.
It's Life of Pi.
So you're thinking Pi, Life of Pi, and you're connecting the two. I think it might have been Ang Lee that did Life of Pi.
Okay, sorry, I don't know Tree of Life or Mother did.
So Tree of Life is Hugh Jackman and time travel, and it was just mental masturbation as far as I'm concerned, and I didn't really like it. Mother was this absurdist, I guess he was dating Jennifer. Sorry, who's Mystique? Jennifer something. Hunger Games. Sorry, I've had too much whiskey to remember last names.
Gardner?
No, that's Electra.
Too many freaking Jennifers in Hollywood.
Jennifer something, who's an awesome actress and a very interesting person.
Lawrence.
Yes, thank you, Jennifer Lawrence. So stars her, and it was kind of just like let's put her into the most uncomfortable situation possible, make a biblical parallel because Darren Aronofsky is like very obsessed with his Jewish upbringing, and just make this weird surrealist horror movie without calling it a horror movie. And Mother is that. Mother is an incredible film. I don't think I want to watch it a second time. If I do, it'll be tough. Maybe it'll be for the sake of my son, just to force him to watch it.
That's hilarious because
Here,
look,
honey, you need to see this.
that's how I feel about Requiem for a Film, or Requiem for
Yeah.
a Film.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, is oh my God, this film is so good. It's so good. I never want to watch it again. I never ever
No.
want to see it.
I get that way with a lot of movies. I've probably seen Requiem 25 times. Even though I don't want to rewatch it.
So you say that it's like kind of disturbing on what it goes into, right? And one of the most disturbing films, and it is. It gets into some disturbing things, right? But there's one film that's way worse, right?
There's a lot of movies that are way worse.
Have you seen a Serbian film?
I'm a horror aficionado. I've seen 2,000 horror movies.
No. But have you seen a Serbian film?
I have not seen a Serbian film.
Okay.
I know so much about it that I don't think that I'm ever in the mindset to watch it.
Oh, Lord. There is not enough whiskey in the world.
Firstly, I was when I was running the radio, we did a horror movie review show, and we had 3 hosts, and one of us each selected a movie. We each went and respectively watched all 3 of those and then reviewed them. I will smack Chuckles if I ever meet him for selecting that film because, oh my God, I would have turned it off 5 minutes in had it not been for. What was my opinion?
Yeah. No. What did you pick?
What did I pick on that particular episode?
Yeah, well, you said everybody got a pick, right?
Well, I don't know, dude. We ran that show.
Someone picked Serbian film to screw everybody up for the rest of their life. What did you pick?
I think I know at one point I picked Deep Rising, which I thought was funny.
That's good.
Yeah. A lot of people don't like that. I think it was a nice cruise line twist of the Alien story, personally, with a giant monster instead. The CGI definitely don't hold up, but what from the 90s does. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know though. There were several episodes of that particular show on the. Dude, you're making me. There's over 100 quests, man. Don't make me think about what movies I picked on the freaky up fear hour. Like I had to look. See, that's how you properly edit, JM. Right? You go. It's a freaky up fear hour. Right? You just cut it out. Right?
But it is. Yeah.
I still think it's funny.
I've seen a lot of disturbing horror movies. I haven't watched a Serbian film. Probably because I know how disturbing it is. And I can't ever get myself into the mindset where it's like, oh yeah, I think this sounds like a good idea. I know too much about it at this point.
It's never a good idea.
No.
Look, I don't want to. Look, we are going to get this episode kicked off of YouTube between what you just said. The drug comments earlier, like I'm gonna have to put
underage grape juice.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put this. I'm gonna have to put this quest over on the Patreon, just because it'll be the only way it can go up. Or either that, or I'm gonna have to put it on OnlyFans or some crap. She's a freaking piece.
Patreon followers, please follow me so that this is worth my time.
And there's a link in the description to check out JM and all his work, just so you know. But as far as Serbian film, man, look, Vlad, one of the co-hosts, is from Serbia, and he's not even about that film. If that tells you how messed up that is, that's just what that is. You know what
it's a messed up film. But I don't need to watch it to know it.
I think
shock value for shock value's sake has never been my thing. I'm a horror fan, dyed in the wool, like born into a horror legacy, right? Like, my mom was a horror fan. My grandmother was a horror fan. I grew up in a world where I wasn't allowed to be anything other than a horror fan.
Okay, well, let me throw this sidewinder. let me throw this sidewinder at you then, because directly from the director, a Serbian film is actually a political statement about how the Serbian government treats its people,
Okay.
which is terrifying for anyone that's watched a Serbian film. For someone to think that about their government, I don't know how you're not in the process of overthrowing it already, right? Because,
Yeah.
no, because no, right? But let's get into what you're
Yeah.
writing, dude. I want to know, man. You said it was the birth of your kid, correct? Man, I already erased that, right? That made you finally want to start publishing. How long had you been writing before that? Before you decided you're really like, I'm gonna put these stories out.
I've been writing my entire life.
All
My
right.
entire life.
So
I have notebooks filled with Marvel handbook versions of my own heroes and villains from when I was 8 years old. Like, I was obsessed with heroes and villains and superheroes and writing comics from a very early age. But I didn't decide to start publishing or reaching out to comic publishers until my son was born, because I felt like I didn't want to be a nobody to my son. And I felt like the best way of doing it was to follow something that I've loved my entire life and devote myself to it.
I get that, Jam. I truly do. Now I'm curious. So obviously that's why you've got so many different stories. Because like I said, we went into the Christmas story where you are telling it, whatever. All right, everybody already heard that discussion.
Oh, whatever. Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah,
And then
let's
you've
call it
got a Western coming that's got some Egyptian mythology and usage within it, and then you also have a vampire story. But the fact that you said specifically you had a notebooks of superhero characters of your own creation, and you said notebooks worth of characters, like what are you planning on doing with all of that?
Well, I guess I'm waiting because my understanding of the way things work is that Marvel comes to you, you don't come to Marvel. But the dream is to write for Marvel. It really is. I mean, I want a lot of creator-owned stuff. I have a lot of ideas that transcend what Marvel is capable of. But at the same time, I want to work with all the different Marvel characters. I want to work inside that universe. I want to see what I can do inside that universe. But as a kid, I had a supervillain team that was based around the sun. I had Sunstroke and Heatwave and all these other characters. I had a guy called Roadkill that I still have. Maybe I'll upload them to Instagram at some point. But I would draw character profiles. I would do the whole Marvel handbook thing, like their weight, their height, their history.
A character turnaround.
Yeah, I was obsessed with the Marvel handbooks. I really was.
Hmm.
And I loved the idea of creating a fictional character history that transcended when I created the character. I like creating a history that predated when I actually dreamt up of them. And there's a few that actually still work. Like, I was maybe 9 or 10 when I created them, but at the same time, they fully fit into the overall lexicon of the universe. And I would love to do that. I would love to work with existing properties. I would love to put my own spin on things. I have a really, really dark Spider-Man story to tell, for example. But I haven't reached out because I feel like they need to reach out to me, if that makes any sense. Maybe that's that's why I still have a day job and I'm not writing for a living.
See, I get that perspective, but at the same time, man, I've reached out to so many different people, and that's the only reason this show is to where it is the fact that, like, I bug people. Sometimes I feel like I'm bugging people, which is probably good. Scott's taking over the booking because, like, I'm coming at you. I'm coming at you like hip hoppy, like, hey man, what's up? I'm the host of the
You
questionnaire.
reached out to me, and I was all on board.
Uh,
So you did not do the wrong thing, but
but-
having Scott helping with booking and everything helps your podcast in general.
He just he
reached
words
out
it a
to
little
me,
better.
and
Yeah.
I said yes.
Yeah, he words it a little better to where, like, if like we're trying to send a letter to DC, which we're in the process of, to hopefully get a group of creators over here on that new little thing they're doing over there, that little fancy thing, you know what I'm saying? Check out Kelly Johnson, because she's actually, from what I understand,
Uses full sentences and everything.
Yeah.
That's very professional.
use full sentences. Look, I don't make me start mumble rapping.
Full
I'll-
sentences.
I'll-
He's a podcaster.
I'll have to start mumble
No.
rapping.
His stuff is good. What he did was good. Who he brought on was good.
But no. But I'm just saying, for the cases to where, like, it's going to a company like that, he tosses it a little better than I would. I'd just be like, yo, we got this show. Come on, what's up? We want to talk about what you're doing. And when you're sending that to, like, the DC marketing team, they're like, and delete it. And
That's
don't
going
look
to
at
the
it.
circular file.
Yeah.
No. Like,
Yeah.
if I reached out to a Marvel editor and said, I'm a lifelong Marvel fan, I grew up with X-Men and Secret Wars, and I just want to play with your sandbox,
No.
they're not going to go for it.
From what I
So
understand,
the way that you're doing it is the right way. The way that I'm doing it is the cautious way.
well,
But eventually it'll happen.
and can I just say, JM, man, as far as just, and I only say this from the conversations that we've had with so many of the creators, it seems that the best way, if you want to approach one of the bigger creators, is you have to have a portfolio.
Yeah.
If you don't have a portfolio to work to where you can show them what you've done, then what do they have to base off even hiring you for anything? So that is the most important thing as a comic. If you want to be a comic book creator, go figure. The most important thing to do is make a comic.
Yeah, which is almost ironic, right? So I just signed my deal for my first ongoing series. It is a vampire book about vampire girl assassins. I'm not allowed to say the name. I got the green light from my publisher right earlier today. I'm not allowed to say the name, but it is about hipster girls that are vampires that are an assassination squad. And it is part HBO's Girls, it is part True Blood, it is part Gross Point Blank, it is part La Femme Nikita. It's going to be a lot of fun. Whenever anybody reads it, they're going to love it. Like, this is a mass market book in a small market publisher, right? And this will get the attention of everybody else.
But Gross Point Blank, Girls, True Blood, and what was the other?
Did I give another?
Yeah, you gave 4.
Sorry. I don't remember.
I already forgot too. Just,
Too much
I'm
It
paying
was more than
attention,
anything. It was the fact that you threw Gross Point Blank in, and I was like, "Hey, man, I love that film back in the day."
All right. So the idea behind this book is it's 5 women. One of them is new, so there's sort of the entry point for the readers. But the idea is that it's a hit squad that does these elaborate hits on human beings, because vampires are above humans and humans are just
cattle.
fodder, right? Fodder for whatever they want to do
Lunch.
in their life. I have 2 scripts written in so far. I just finished the outline for number 3 today. It's my first ongoing series. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be really sexy. It's going to be really cool. And people are really going to jive with it. And that is a really cute cat. And also,
Look, ever since we've gotten this cat, he's made an appearance in every quests since he's been at the house. So yeah, this is Scotty.
I feel honored. What's his
You know,
name?
Scotty.
Or her name?
Which is Scotty. Yeah, he's Scotty, which I think is funny because I needed a new box for my books just because I needed a new box, and I was like, hey, that's the coolest one, and it was the one that I wanted, and it just happens to be Scotty Young's art, and it was right after I gotten this cat, and my boy had named him Scotty, and I was like, well, that wasn't intentional, but you know, it works.
I want a pet really bad, and my family is not prepared to have a pet.
Oh no,
I'm a dog guy, but only minorly below that, a cat guy. I'm an animal guy, but my family is not ready for an animal the way that I am ready for an animal.
I'm just glad this one's like good. Like you could snatch him up, you can hold him up like he's for display. Like look at this specimen.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Look at
Yeah,
that
no.
specimen.
I had a
Look
cat
at that.
when I was a teenager, and
Whatever.
we got her as a stray, and she would not love that.
Oh.
Not in the least.
Oh,
She
dude.
would not love that.
This thing was just meowing in our front steps.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
you rescued her.
Oh yeah, it
cat
was just-
distribution system at work.
I was he was just meowing at the front
Rescued my
steps.
cat as a
Same.
teenager. I was
Yeah.
16, and I walked in, and there was this cat with all her kittens, and I didn't know what to do with it. And then I fell in love with the cat that we kept. And we got rid of the kittens. We distributed her kittens to loving homes. But we had a cat that was a former stray that had all her teeth pulled out because
Aw.
she was a street cat, right? And everything was abscessed. And we had her for 15 years, and I loved her to death. I
Animals
would
are awesome.
get stoned
Yeah.
and accidentally give her a bunch of jerky and feel that she
Yeah.
used to give her a bunch of jerky and feel that she had a taste for human flesh at that point. But she was the best cat. She really was. But she would not be held the way that you're holding yours.
Oh man, that's what I'm saying. That's what because my boy's 5, you know. So, and like this cat is so cool with him. Like this cat will pair. If there's an episode of Past Quest where Scott and Scott's co-host did too much recently, and the cat is sitting on my shoulder at one point, and he goes bite him, right? And then like 20 minutes later, the cat gets back up on my shoulder, and sure enough, bites right onto my cheek, like, hey, this is food. And I'm like, don't be getting no ideas, Scott. All right.
Oh no, I'm just rubbing myself against your beard.
You
I
have
mean,
no idea how jealous I am of you
Yeah.
right now,
He's a-
Jay.
He's look, this is like, yeah, no, I'm just glad he's good with my boy, man. And look, this has been one hell of a quest. It's been a privilege. Yeah, just to chat comics with you, man. And there's so much more I could go into, but I'll be real honest. At a certain point, when it gets to a certain time, my brain goes, oh, I have to edit this too.
Yeah, no, edit away.
It's-
Edit whatever you want.
It's just hey, look, it'll all be in there. It's just I don't look. That's like Scott at one point was like, man, you're gonna edit that out. And I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? I don't edit out anything. The only way I edit anything out of the show is if one, there was just a serious line crossed. Like I don't know. Part of me's like feels like I need to cut out where you say the R word in reference to the Serbian film, because I'm like, I don't know how much trouble that will cause us on the tube that is you. Yeah, see, and that's what I'm saying. It'll literally make it to where this episode just gets buried. So I might find that and just cut that clip of audio, to be real honest.
Is that Russell
the-
line?
Yeah. All right, well, dude, no, it's... You really going to go for my ear, Scotty? Because people don't listen, I know. People don't listen, and that's the problem. And it's the general society that doesn't listen and understand that them doing and censoring all of this is making us to where everybody thinks they can always have their way all the bloody time, and that's not how this world works. That was a really mean way to end this quest. But you know what? While my cat tries to nibble on my ear, that's what we're going to do because I am the unknown factor. And this is the questionnaire. Now, before we wrap it up with JM, though, right? You know, and did you watch those 2 episodes all the way to the end?
All the way.
Son of a, you know what's coming. You do, don't you? You know what's coming, don't you?
Yeah.
See?
Bring it on.
See, most people don't. All right, that's good. I'm glad this conversation has went the way it has then so I can spice it up. So what I want to let you know, yeah, if y'all out there have enjoyed this quest with Jay and Brandt, right, what I want you to do is I want you to get Indiana Jones, right? So just get Harrison Ford full Indiana Jones garb, right? To go and sit with JM and have a meal of corned beef and cabbage with, you know, couple of Jack and Coke, whatever, whiskey and Coke, whatever kind of whiskey you want. It's let's be honest, if you're sitting with Harrison Ford drinking whiskey and Coke, it's not going to be Jack. I really doubt it. I think it's probably going to be way, way higher end than Jack Daniels.
I
Right?
did both tonight. Yeah.
Jacques Daniels.
Yeah. Now, if for some reason you haven't enjoyed this quest with JM, I ask again, why are you here? Why are you here? Why?
What are you doing?
I mean, if they're hate watching,
Something better with your life.
I mean, yeah. Just if you're hate watching, I guess that's fine. It's getting views, but like, I would prefer it as a human being, respectively. That if you went and did something that you found more enjoyable, man. Like, you know, perhaps go find a comic book that you would enjoy to read, and don't listen to this yammering if it's making your head hurt. You know. But if JM has made your head hurt, what I want you to do, right, is I want you to just get a big old pack of ghosts, right? And then I want you to go have those ghosts somehow get a big old pack of Deadpools, right? All those ghosts then need to go and possess all those Deadpools, right? And then it's going to look like that end scene of Wolverine versus Deadpool, man, but just the Deadpools. And then they're going to surround you, right? And they're going to start going, I love you, you love me. Sit and eat the salmon, you'll see that it's lovely, JM. That's the quest. Yeah, really. Won't you all join us next? Right? Now, besides that, I just want you all to do 3 things, right? 1, give it that thumbs up. 2, always get your comic on. 3, have a good night, y'all.
This has been the questionnaire.
Where's the link?
Thanks for checking out the questionnaire.
In the link below, yes?
I will drop it like it's hot.
That's another party.
It's cool, man. I love it.
The questionnaire. That is all.